Okay, so the class is being recorded as usual, and welcome to another TEFL class. This is week 5, and this is the first class on or in week 5. So what do we have on the agenda tonight? We're doing the skills. Spoke about the systems, and we focused on lexis and grammar. Perhaps, inshallah, we may find time to perhaps go over the other systems. And of course, by the other systems, I would mean this course, I would mean also phonology. But our primary focus is obviously on grammar and vocabulary. The other systems are more of the suprasegmental type, not as important as the segmental types. And by segmental, here I mean, of course, grammar and vocab or lexis. Today we're doing the skills and their sub-skills. We will have opportunities to make this very important distinction between skills and their sub-skills or strategies. So let me share my slides. Okay, so like I said, today is week 5, and today is day 1 in week 5. And again, what is it that we're doing? We're doing language skills. Remember, teaching is about systems and skills, language systems and language skills. This is what you do in a language class. You either teach systems or you teach or transfer skills. Let me put it in a more accurate way. So what do I mean when I say skills in an ELT class or in an English or a TEFL class? So what are the skills? Okay. Maya, what are the skills that people teach in a language class? Alaikum salam.
It's writing, listening, talking, writing, listening, speaking, writing and listening and speaking.
Yeah, writing, listening, speaking, and reading, of course, right?
Yeah.
So these are the 4 skills that we go to class with in order to transfer their sub skills. Obviously, you don't teach, when I say language skills and I speak about those 4, I don't mean that I'm going to perhaps teach you how to speak because you already speak. It's not about helping you speak when you already speak. I'm trying to help you speak a language, which is obviously something that you're not born with. You're born with your own language. So we're trying to help you acquire a new language. So speaking does not mean that we're doing something with the organs or articulators involved in the process of speaking. Okay, you're not a kid, or the people that we meet in classes are not kids, whether they are children or adults. So to say that I am teaching you skills wouldn't be very accurate. I am teaching you skills in a second language, and I am teaching you sub skills or what we call strategies, ways as how you can enhance your second language skills. Okay, so obviously the focus is not on the skills per se in and of themselves. if I teach you, for example, reading, I'm not helping you perhaps become a better visualizer or somebody who can fix his own eyes in a certain way. No, obviously it's more language related as we're going to, or second or foreign language related as we're going to see in a minute. So this is what we're doing tonight. We are transferring language skills in a second language or in a foreign language class. And the focus is obviously not on the language skills themselves because you're born with those skills, whether we're talking about speaking, I don't know, we're not born with writing. Obviously, you don't write if you're a child. Um, what we're primarily focusing on would be the skills, the sub skills, and we'll talk more about that. So these are the language skills that Maya told us about: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. So what did we say about them? Because there is another uh, classification of them. Do you still remember this classification? What did we say about those four? Did we divide or break them down into something smaller? Do you still remember any of that? Hmm? Can I see hands? Can we have somebody else other than Mia? Or Mia, I'm sorry. So the four language skills we know, right? Uh, Toka, go ahead.
Yes, we call it like we reception the order and we give the information. I forget the name.
Ah, yes. But we break them down into something receptive and something productive, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Toka. Do we know which is which? Where is everyone, ya Jama? Al-Gawhara, hi, how are you?
Hello, doctor.
Yeah,
I
hi.
think receptive are the reading and listening,
Mm-hmm.
and the productive writing and speaking.
Yes, yes. Because with the productive ones, you produce something, right?
Yes,
Okay. But when we talk about the receptive skills, we talk about what we take in, whether
yes,
when we read, we take something in, we take perhaps information, and when we listen, we also take something in.
yes,
So the labels are or have their own reasons, logical reasons, I would say. Okay, so if we talk about the productive skills, of course, we have productive and we have receptive skills. Receptive skills would be listening and reading, while the productive skills would be speaking and writing. I mean, do you have issues with, I'm asking everyone, do you have issues with this classification? Somebody may say, for example, when I read, I do a lot of things. I have to understand, I have to process, and this is all active. You can't be a passive reader, right? Do you have issues with this classification? Do you think, like I do, that listening is very active and very productive, obviously? That reading is also very productive and very. What do you think of this? Because we may disagree with definitions and labels. It's not holy writ, it's not holy cow, like they say, right? You can question and challenge concepts and ideas. Okay. May are you raising your hand or something?
Yeah, actually, because I have a problem with reading.
Yeah, okay. We'll
My
have
pro-
it fixed for you. What's your problem with reading?
my problem with reading is that sometimes I read, for example, if we want to talk about the Scarlet Letter, okay, it's a C1 level novel, okay, and the book of Jane Austen, Emma, is also C1 English level, so I can understand the English of Jane Austen, but at the same time, I can't understand the language of the Scarlet Letter, um, although they are at the same level. So, and sometimes I read books in level B and B1, B2, and I can't understand them. So, I don't know why.
Again, remember when I told you that it has to do with the genre itself. So genres have their own ways of, you approach them in a certain way. Again, you're talking about two different reading experiences. It is true that both of them are novels, but one of them belongs to the American experience, and the other is British. You're talking about Emma, which is British and Victorian literature, right? So the experience is different, and that would have its toll on the reading process. And also the idea of genre. American novels are a genre in themselves, and British novels are, they have a lot of similarities in terms of our broader concepts of what a novel is. They seem to agree on that. But of course, they have their own intrinsic features, which makes the American novel unique and which makes the British novel unique. We'll have time for that, but the focus is obviously on perhaps why you read, and this is and the purpose of reading, because we were under the impression that people just read. No, you don't just read. You read for a purpose. You listen for a purpose, and that would impact your reading. Can make it. I mean, the level of understanding can be big, sometimes can be small, depending on your purpose and why you're reading. And this is something that we're going to talk about in a while. And whatever we say about reading will also be will also apply to a major and a big extent to listening, because they seem to be similar. It's about receiving information, and obviously the organs are different. With reading, you use your eyes and, of course, your other mental processes, and with listening, you use your ears and the other mental processes. We'll have time to talk about that and see why. Perhaps you will answer yourself, yeah, Mia, at the end of the class, inshallah, tonight. So again, we're focused on the receptive skills, and of course, receptive comes from the word receive. So it's about what you receive. So when you read something, you receive information. When you listen to something, you also receive information. So we're focused tonight on the receptive skills. So these are the four skills, and this is how we are organizing and categorizing them. So when we talk about language skills, we speak about those four skills that we agreed on: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And we also said that reading and listening are called receptive skills, while speaking and writing are productive skills. Again, we're focused tonight on reading and listening. We're focused tonight on the receptive skills. So my first question to you is about, so what is it that we read in life? Let's talk about that. So I would like you to perhaps think back a couple of hours or perhaps more, and tell me the last thing that you have read or today. before you came to class? You have the whole day until you came here today. What did you read? Other people are not as active as I expect them. Only two people. Okay. Okay. So obviously it's a personal experience. I mean, we don't have identical answers, right? So that's why I need, or I want everybody to participate. Okay. So Razan, what was the last thing that you read before you came to class?
I read the novel of uh, A World That Doesn't Belong to Us by the Palestinian writer Ghassan Kanafani.
Okay.
I started reading this novel.
And I'm talking about what you did today. You read a chapter. You obviously you haven't
Yes,
finished a whole novel in a couple of hours, right?
yes, I read one chapter.
You read one chapter today. Okay, so reading a book. So people read books. What else? Let's move to somebody else. Shamsa, what did you read? It doesn't have to be a book. Whatever you have read. Okay.
Doctor, I read the book that offered to us and slides, preface slides of past culture, cultures, uh, and
Is that what you read?
the
What did you read today? Guys, listen to me. So I'm talking about what you read today, not this year,
yes,
not this month.
yes. Yesterday I read the preface slides of talk with you,
Okay, so you read the
and
slides. You went,
and read the book that offered to us
okay, the book
and
that I also
Telegram.
shared with you. Okay, nice, very good. Okay, again, I'm talking about things that we have done before walking into the class. It can be as simple as checking your email. Reading emails is also reading. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a book. I'm not looking for books. Okay, so and this is why I'm asking about reading. What do we read? It can be as simple as a newspaper, or as yeah, as quick as a newspaper. It can be as big as a book. We have so many things in between. This is what I'm addressing. Make no mistake about it. Fatma Bilal.
Yes, hello, doctor.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah,
I read the school policies and regulations.
yeah, that you work in a school and you
Yes.
read the, is it a new school? You're going to a new school or something?
No, but they just it has something you have to read every year. Just they might update it.
Okay, nice. This is a different kind of reading. Remember, I'll come back to you. I mean, everyone. Okay, I'll come back with another question. طيب, let's move to Bara.
Yes,
What
sir.
did you read?
Actually, I read some news just checking the situation in the Middle East.
Yeah,
As true as always.
yeah, very, very depressing, obviously, right? Uh,
Inshallah khair.
Inshallah.
Inshallah it will be
Toka?
alright.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
today
I'm listening. Let's have Barat finish and then we go
oh,
to Toka.
call my name because
Yeah, I
Uh,
was saying inshallah it will be alright. Inshallah.
inshallah. Yeah,
Mm.
Toka, go ahead.
yes, today I read some instruction about how we deal with the student at school.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yes. Okay. Hala?
Hello, doctor.
Yeah, a very good
Uh,
evening to you.
I was actually I was on Instagram and I read a couple of posts about hiring and jobs.
Hmm.
Uh, because
Yeah,
I'm
that
looking for a job. So I
yeah,
was looking for advertisements and stuff.
that's interesting. This is another kind of reading. Yeah, very good. Basma.
Yes, doctor. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon. Hi.
Yeah, yeah, doctor. I was reading also while I was browsing my Instagram. I was reading about idioms. Yeah,
Idioms.
and I'm very interested. Yeah, about the this videos which kids presented. Uh, yeah, the about idioms, like for example, when I am in trouble in a very difficult situation,
Okay.
say that I am in a pickle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this.
Yeah. Basma, you obviously have technical issues. Are you aware of? Okay. Thank you, Basma. Let's move to Rehab.
Yes, doctor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, doctor, a few hours ago, I just read the terms and details of my employment contract. Today, I signed the contract with the school. I've been accepted as an English teacher for lower grades, and I'm a little bit
MashaAllah.
nervous and excited about it. And
Mm,
I'm looking forward to your advice and guidance and everything. So, what a coincidence! Just today, I signed the contract.
okay. So let me ask you, you were reading the contract because it's a contract. Do you read it
Yes, yes,
very
yes, yes.
quickly? Do you read it quickly or you take your time and you read it slowly?
No, no, no. Yes, I took my time and I read
Mm.
it carefully. And Nisreen, if you remember her, my classmate also signed it with me the same.
What's her name?
Nisreen
Misri?
Mahmoud, if you remember her.
I don't I don't quite
Yes,
remember. Yeah.
she was with us, yes, also. So
Mm.
we signed it together, and inshallah, it will
Nice,
be a good
mashallah.
start.
Inshallah,
And
inshallah. You
inshallah, thank
guys
you so much.
deserve the best. Yeah, very
Thank you
good.
so much. We appreciate all your support.
Well, inshallah, you'll do an excellent job and you'll make me proud, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah, doctor. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. You're welcome. Let's move to Mia. Mia?
Actually, I read a summary, like an article talking about the Scarlet Letter because I couldn't understand the first chapter and the second chapter. So because of that, I'm looking for a summary.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So as you can see, we do different types of reading. We can read a newspaper, we can read a novel, or I mean, obviously a chapter or a few pages in a novel. We can read an agreement or a contract that we're signing with a second party. We can check our emails. So these are different types of reading that we're involved in on a daily or even on an hourly basis. Reading is part and parcel of our life, whether we are aware of that or not. And depending on our reading in terms of pace, in terms of understanding, is going to depend largely on why we're reading. So, how we read will depend on why we read. So, why did we read what we read? And remember, I told you that I'll come back to you, and I'm asking everyone, those who came to the mic. And let's start with Hala, for example.
It could be for knowledge.
No, I'm asking about your experience today. You were reading posts about hiring, right? So
Yes.
your purpose was that you want to get hired,
Yes.
which means that you were perhaps what kind of reading? Was it slow, fast? You were,
No, it's like skimming.
yeah, yeah. Okay, but if something catches your eye or eyes, you will get back to it and focus more.
Yes, it's just like I'm reading what position it's for, and if I'm qualified, I will look for the email straight away and email them.
Yes. So you start off skimming through things, reading them very quickly. And once something is of interest because it relates to you in one way or another, you go back and you start focus more.
Yes,
So you're moving from reading for general information to reading for detail. Am I correct?
exactly. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Fatma. You were reading the school handbook and the policies and the guidelines, right?
Yes,
Were
yes.
you required to take your time or you were just skimming through that?
We were required to read it, but I kind of skimmed through it because they're kind of similar to last year's with a
Mm-hmm.
few updated details, but mostly
Mm-hmm.
skimming, scanning
Okay,
through
so
it.
it's some kind of you were kind of trying to update your knowledge. You already
Yep.
have knowledge, existing knowledge, and you were kind of adding to this a bit. So
Yep.
it didn't require a lot of
Intensive
efforts.
reading? No, no.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So again, because the purpose is updating, not reading or understanding from scratch, right? Okay,
Yes, yes.
thank you so much. Somebody else, Bara, you were reading the news, right? You're
Yes,
reading,
exactly.
you were looking for a certain item of news,
Yeah,
or you were,
politics, as
mm,
usual.
you're interested
Into
in this.
problems always.
Yeah, you're into that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And because you're into that, you skim through the other sections. You don't focus on sports, for example, or perhaps the cultural page or the ads, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You,
but I
yeah.
love also the cultural topics. But
Okay.
today it was for politics for sure.
Okay. So
We
you
have
focus
many,
you,
many interesting
yeah,
things, you know?
yeah, yeah, interesting in a negative way, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know the word interesting can also be used in a negative way. I mean, when
Maybe.
I say something, somebody is interesting and a person of interest, it doesn't mean that interesting means fun and funny. No.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes
Mhm.
it means they are into a thing,
Yeah.
a specialist, a major.
Yes. So because you like this area of news or of a newspaper, you perhaps focus more when you go to it, right?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So again, the purpose can make all the difference. The what can determine the how, if you like. The what
Yes.
means the material that you are reading or listening to, for that matter, determines how you read it, whether you're slow, whether you're fast, whether you skim or you focus, you read for detail, right?
Yes,
Thank
for
you,
sure.
Bara. Thank you.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. Who else? Razan, you told us something, right? Mona, you have to do something about
Yes.
where, yeah, and I'm talking to Mona. You have to do something about your mic, okay? Please, yani, try to fix this problem because we want you to hear you and see what you are all about, inshallah. Razan, you wanted to say something about the kind of reading that you did. You said that you were reading
I
a few.
yes,
So, okay,
yes.
what? So
Because I
this,
wanted to try.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry,
That's
I
fine.
wanted to try to read for this novelist because I really I read about him and I really admired that he writes for he writes for a noble purpose.
Okay, so you read, so
He
why
writes
do you read novels in general and why you're reading Ghassan Kanifani in particular? Are you into novels?
yes, since
Mm.
childhood.
Hmm.
I
So,
am. as someone who was always cannot, an introvert. I was a very introvert kid. So since childhood, books were my biggest happiness. That's why I grew up like this.
Yeah. So you read them for pleasure, or perhaps they have another purpose. They are your friends.
Yes, sometimes for pleasure, sometimes to improve my language skills.
Okay. So when you read them in order to improve your language skills, you spend more time on the page
Yes,
than when you're reading for pleasure, for example?
yes.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
And
Mia?
about this writer,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Let's
And
talk about
about this
Ghassan.
writer,
Yeah, Ghassan.
I chose him because I read that he uses his ability to write stories to explain the case of Palestine to others.
He does. By the way, my YouTube channel has. I remember I taught him at one point. This was way back in 2010. And what's the name of the? It's a letter from Gaza. It's over there on my you. And I'm doing a commentary on him and on the novel. You may
Which one?
find this interesting.
Yeah,
A letter, was it from Gaza or to, yeah, from Gaza, a letter from Gaza. It's on my YouTube channel.
inshallah, I will.
Yeah, I hope you find it interesting. And don't judge me because I was young and my English wasn't that good.
Don't
Let's
say
go
that. You are
to
amazing.
let's go to Mia.
Actually, my reading was like a slow reading, okay, and I was focusing about the articles that I read because it wasn't just about a summary to a novel. It was talking about the Puritan group and their lives and the 17th century. So
Mhm.
it wasn't just about. I discovered that I should go on with a religious thing to understand the novel. So maybe because of that, it was a hard novel for me.
You mean you were looking at certain aspects in the novel?
Yeah, actually,
No.
novel was talking about something religious about the Puritan group. So I couldn't understand it. So because of that, I was looking for an article to summarize it and to explain something about
Yeah.
this group of people.
Well, because you were so keen on understanding and processing whatever is happening in the novel, it took you some time, right? So it's not that you're reading the novel for pleasure, where when you read something for pleasure, it's you don't normally focus much because it's pleasure that you're seeking, which means that something may slip, and that's fine, right? But if it's a serious reading, for example, if you're reading, let's assume that I'm giving you an assignment and it has a prompt. What do you think? Would you take your time, or you're going to read it very quickly and understand whatever you understand, and then you start writing?
Actually, for me, yeah, of course, I'll
For
read it
everyone,
quickly to
for
finish it.
everyone.
But if there's something important, if there's
Yeah, and I'm
something
telling,
important
I'm giving you
in
an
writing, so I'll
assignment.
think about it
So I'm
again.
giving, if it's an assignment, what do you think? Is it important or not? So of course, if it's an assignment, it's important, okay? So because it's an assignment, it determines the kind of reading that, or the amount of time that you invest in it. Okay, let's move on. So these are some of the things that you spoke about. These are things that we read. What do we read? You can be reading a message or a post on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. So a message on Facebook, or what the teacher wrote in class, for example, exercises in the class, or it can be a newspaper article. It can be emails, it can be visa documents, bank statements, text messages. It can be a CV. If you're like me, you receive CVs and you talk to people and interview them. It can be a sales report if you work as a sales. It can be an Excel or a spreadsheet. It can be a database. It can be records like Fatma, for example, school or student records, diaries, menus in a restaurant if you have your lunch in a restaurant, right? It can be a newspaper, can be a few pages of a novel like Mia and and our other friend are doing, right? It can be all and any of that. See? Again, we're focused on the idea that what you read determines how you read. Okay, so how we read depends on why we read. We said that we read for a multiplicity of purposes, right? You're reading for exams, you're reading for pleasure, you're reading for you're signing a contract, so you don't want to miss any of the items or the clauses, right? So how you read, like I said, depends on why we read. So we don't simply read. We read something we have selected or perhaps selected for us for a reason or for a purpose. Of course, you can read for pleasure, which is obviously not a purpose or a reason, but obviously there is more to reading than just seeking pleasure or reading for pleasure. So again, why we read is very important because it determines how we read. So I would like you to read this. How do we read? I'll give you a minute to read this. Go ahead. Okay. Are you done?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Can we talk about it? Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah. Whatever you have understood. Come to the mic.
Uh,
I can see only one hand. Bushra, are you trying to say something?
yes,
Yeah.
it's talking about what topic we selected and wanted to read. Maybe want to skim it or um, reading it more specific.
Yeah. So depending on the material that you're reading, your pace is going to be different, and obviously your focus. Let's move to somebody else. Thank you, Bushra. Fatma?
They're also saying if you're just reading just for not to get the details, if you don't need to get the details, you just want to get the gist of the idea, you might just skim and look for keywords. But then if you have an assignment or if you need to read different opinions and you need to find out more information, that's when you'll have more of a focused reading.
Okay. Thank you. Mia or Mia?
Actually, I have the same opinion that this text is talking about different types of reading, and sometimes we need to just sometimes we just need to have a quick look about the text, and in another time we need to read a text for specific information, but in another time we need to read the text. We need to focus about the information that we are reading.
So it depends on your purpose, right? Obviously. Bara?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Bara?
People read what they want in different ways, and this depends on their goal and aims. If they want to read quickly, they will scan the content to get the general meaning, but if they want something precise, they will look into details.
Yeah. Budur, hi, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Would you like to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, just like what my colleague said, different things can be read in different ways, obviously, and that depends on the purpose. If you want to a detailed reading, you want to know more information, you want to understand the littlest details, of course, you're gonna read slowly and just focus on the reading more. And if you want to just understand the general idea, you're gonna skim through it. And that's basically it.
That's interesting. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay, this is a more highlighted version of what we've been talking about. Again, we're talking about how or perhaps why you read affects how you read. So people read different texts in different ways, like we agreed, depending on the reasons for reading, like we said. And obviously the experience will be different if you're reading a newspaper article. It depends on your purpose, why you're reading this. If you're reading the article, if you're someone who wants to get a general understanding of the gist of what the article is about, you will probably read quickly and superficially. You don't spend the rest of your life reading the article. Obviously, you read it very quickly. However, if you want to find out particular facts about the news story that you're reading, such as where the event took place or who was involved, obviously this is a more focused kind of reading where you are you will focus more on specific information within the text. The article could also be read in more detail if there are opinions involved and you're trying to kind of understand those opinions and process them. That would take perhaps more time. Again, so these are the things that we read. We read newspaper articles, we read bus timetables, restaurant bells, news websites, TV schedules, maintenance instructions, web pages, and recipes. Again, depending on the purpose, our reading experiences are going to be different. So now what? Now I would like you to think about how we read the things that I spoke about? Do we read, for example, every word? Do we move logically through the text? Do we read line by line? Do we read very carefully or just glance over or about something? Okay, so I would like you to read those different scenarios in which it could be a news website that you're reading, it could be a web page that you're reading, a TV schedule, and tell me whether you're going to be reading every single word, you're going to move logically, you're going to read line by line, you're going to read carefully or glance over the thing. Tell me which is which. I'll give you a couple of minutes, 3 minutes, because the scenarios are obviously big. You guys have 3 minutes to decide on whether you're going to read word by word, you're going to glance over the material, you're going to move logically, read every single word, and so on. And read the scenarios. You have A, B, C, D, and E. So these are different reading contexts, right? And again, depending on what we read, we um, um, see what kind of reading, what level of reading we're going to choose, what even in terms of quality, I mean, spending too much, spending too little, and stuff like that. So what are the scenarios that we have here? What are those different scenarios that we're talking about? Hmm. Hmm? Excuse me. Just give me a minute. Okay. Right, let's talk about it. So I was talking about the quality of reading depending on why we are reading, right? Can we talk about it, anyone and everyone? Toka, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, doctor. In newspapers, some people reading scanning method, they just skip the link and searching for the story.
Okay, nice.
They reading very fast. Just they want to take it.
Yeah, skim through the items. They don't focus.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, they don't have to, right? Well, who else? Can I see other people's hands?
When we read instructions,
Yeah.
uh,
So what happens if you're reading instructions? Do you go slow or you go quickly? If you're
it
reading
depends.
instructions. If you're having a new TV set, for example, and you're setting it up, would that require you to read slowly and carefully, or you're going to
Yes,
read quickly and then,
yes, slowly and carefully
yeah,
to
yeah,
understand.
yes. So you're reading for detail. We call it reading for detail. Yeah, like Noor Dugan is saying, you read carefully. Yes. Shams, I wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yes, doctor. I did with the I deal with the reading for studying and for reading of novels and poetry because I am fond and with the literature studies. So I read slowly and deeply.
So in spite of the fact that you're reading for pleasure because it's something that you like very much, you still, because you enjoy it, you read very slowly. You take your time, you savor it as if you're savoring coffee, right? You
Yes,
sip,
doctor.
yeah, very small sips, right?
Yes, doctor.
Okay,
Thank you.
Shamsa, thank you so much. Budur?
Yes, doctor. Uh, sometimes also for bus schedules or if I'm not mistaken, also receipts.
Can I ask
We
you to
want
raise
to
your
read.
voice?
I was talking about the scenario where you read the scheduling for the buses. Of course, you're not going to read the whole templates. You're going to just look for the thing that you want specifically, which is the
Yeah.
time that your bus
What do we
that
call
you
this kind
want.
of reading? We call it reading for specific information, right?
Yes.
You don't bother
So
yourself
you
with
just
everything, right?
exactly.
Nice.
Just like you said in the there's also a scenario for if you want to look for a number, I don't know, for establishment, I don't know, for a hospital, and you have that thing. I forgot the name of the big book that has all the numbers. So you won't actually read from page number one. You're just gonna skim through
Yeah,
the
that's
thing
true.
that you're looking for alphabetically. Yeah.
Yes.
So you just want to look for specific information.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Budur. Mia?
I think that our goals from reading is depending on what the reason of reading. For example, if I read for if I read the recipes or the instructions, maybe I'll focus during reading. But if I want a specific information, for example, like a cell phone number, so I'll skip a lot of another. I'll focus just about the thing that I'm looking for, and just if I'm reading a story, for example, maybe I can focus about the important thing and skip the unimportant things. Just
Yeah. I have seen you in one of those scenarios. Remember, there was one about reading a novel and going because you're focused, you're trying to understand, you go back and forth and you understand something and then you move on. And this is what you're doing, right? When you read novels, especially the novel that
yeah.
you're reading currently, right? Okay. Let's move on. So these are the types of reading that we do depending on why we read. So depending on our purpose, we read for either one of these. You read for general understanding, and this is what we call gist. We call it gist reading. We read for specific information, and sometimes you read for detail, and this is what we call intensive reading, like Fatma said. So general understanding, specific information, and reading for detail. Again, it depends on why you are reading. It depends on your purpose. Okay, these are interesting scenarios. I would like you to look at them and tell me what kind of reading you'll be doing. You'll be reading for a general understanding, or reading for specific information, or reading for detail. It depends on your purpose. Read the scenario and tell me which is which. I'll give you 3 minutes for that. Yalla, go ahead. Are we done?
Yes.
Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so which is which? So let me have them both, and then, okay. So can I have hands? Okay. So let's start with Hala. Number one, Hala. Can you read the
Flicking.
can you read the scenario and tell me what kind of reading you'll do?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Flicking through a magazine in dentist's waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
It's reading for general understanding.
Yeah, you don't really focus, right? You don't spend your energies on it, because it's some kind, I mean, you're obviously waiting, you're trying to kill the time, right?
Yes.
So it wouldn't require you to read for detail or read for specific information, right? Thank you so
Yes.
much. Bushra, can you read out loud the second scenario?
Proofreading an assignment before handing it in to your tutor.
Mm-hmm.
It's reading for detail.
Yeah. So you're reading for detail because it's very important, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's have Budur do number 3 for us.
Yes. Reading an essay question on an exam paper. That would be reading for detail.
Yeah. So obviously you need to invest the right
Exactly.
amount of time, right?
Because it's an
Yeah.
exam, yes.
Yeah, because it's serious and important, right?
It's
Okay, let's move to 4. Let's have somebody for 4. Let's have Shamsa do 4 for us.
Uh, Glancing at the headlines in uh, newspaper and the way to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, reading for a general understanding.
Yeah, because you don't, I mean, you're going to work and you're trying to while away the time, right? Thank you so much, Shamsa. Let's
Thank
move
you,
on.
Doctor.
You're welcome. Let's have Toka.
Number 5, checking a personal email to find out what time to meet your. I
Your
think
friend.
yes, reading for a general understanding or reading
Um,
for details.
I don't agree with either. So you're checking your personal email for a specific purpose. You're trying to know when you're looking for the time when you're going to meet your friend. So obviously you're looking for a specific piece of information, right?
Yes.
So that would be reading for specific information. Let's move on. Let's have somebody else. Let's have Rehab.
Looking at a bank statement to find out how much money you spent last month. It's a reading for specific information.
Yes, obviously you're not going to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking for, which is how much money you spent last month, right? You guys agree? Yeah, let's look at, yeah, I don't mind giving you another minute to kind of check what you said against the answer key. Perhaps I need to make it a little bit bigger. Give you a minute for that.
Doctor?
Yes, Shams.
Not Shamsa. Yeah,
Oh,
Doctor,
yeah.
I just want to say that I don't agree with that we should reading the essay of the exam paper in we shouldn't focus we shouldn't it shouldn't be reading for detail because we have times, okay, so we are controlled by time, so we should read it, so it should be looking for a specific information.
No, you're reading for detail. It means that you're not going to spend the rest of your life reading. I mean, you have 2 hours or 3 hours. If you spend 5 minutes, this is reading for detail. 5 minutes is big. It's not that you're going to spend half an hour or an hour. See? So you have to spend the right amount of time, which is reading for detail. Again, it can be reading for detail, and it can also be reading for specific information. Because you're, this is what you guys do. You're looking for a specific information because you have memorized something and you're looking for it so that you can put it in the exam. No, this is not what we have in mind. Okay, you're full. Yeah, I'm just joking. Okay,
Yeah.
so it would make more sense if you read for detail when it comes to exams and essay questions and stuff like that. Okay, are we done? طيب, I'll take a 5 minute break because I'll need the printer to print out something for someone. So we'll meet in 5 minutes, only 5 minutes. I have to stop the recording and perhaps go out of the room entirely and then come back. So we're meeting again in 5 minutes. Okay, everyone?
Yes, sir. Take your
Okay.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
doctor.
Okay. Yeah.